Anybody have any cool dreams over the last week that they would like to share with the group? Um, I had one that was pretty sweet, but I'd like to hear some other people. If you're out there.
I
Um,
I have
I'm having more dream activity in general lately. It's very, very consistent, but if I start to become lucid, I wake up instantly. Um, so,
Well, it doesn't have to be a lucid dream. It could be just, some dream that you feel like inspired to share with us if you want. But, if it's you doing chicks or something like that, whatever.
not one in particular, but if we do get to troubleshooting, I would love some advice.
Oh, sure,
No,
dude.
no, no cool content.
All right. Well, I mean, you could share like the troubleshooting one if you want. Why not? If you're into that.
I mean, it's there's not one particular that sticks out. It's kind of like I've dreamt and remembered it every night this week,
Oh.
and we'll become lucid, and then just wake up instantly. Um, so, and there's usually some guardian phenomena, like historically, I'll go into sleep paralysis instead of wake up. That's not happening now.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
But yeah, it's just like that threshold of lucidity is like adjacent to total wakefulness now for me. It seems
Mm.
it's interesting how stuff in the body will affect dreams so much, and even stuff going on in the body will come up metaphorically in dreams. Like for those who don't know, I'm dealing with like chronic mercury toxicity, and the other night I ate green beans, not knowing that I wasn't supposed to eat those because they have a lot of sulfur in them, and they're specifically free thiols. And I had this crazy dream that there was like an earthquake in my town, and all of this molten mercury was coming up from the cracks in the earth and rising up, and I had to drive around and save everybody and take them to Walmart because it was the point of highest elevation.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm interested. Like you were saying that you get lucid and then you immediately wake up right after that, which is, you know, that to me that seems like the real interesting part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that
Yeah.
like it happens that like in the lucidity that can contribute to that? You think?
um, no, it's just there'll be a detail that will trigger critical thinking related to things in my waking life, and it's that's what's triggering the lucidity. And then as soon as I realize I'm in a dream state, I just wake completely up, not even groggy.
Like, are you getting excited because you're lucid? You're like, holy shit, like, this is a dream, or?
I I think so, maybe. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of excitement, but I used to be able to be a little excited and,
Oh,
but
okay.
still navigate the dream. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the problem though, I guess? Like, what is it that is bothering you about this situation?
Well, I mean, I would like to, complete some tasks, but if I wake all the way up and can't get back to sleep, then
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I mean, like the only thing that I would say is not getting excited would keep you in a lucid state easier. Um, because if you get excited, you're like, oh wow, I'm lucid, versus just like neutral, then um, that would keep you in a lucid state a long time. Like if you just kind of resisted the urge to respond to the lucidity, if you could, like keep yourself calm.
sure. I wonder if there's any daytime exercises that could contribute to me staying in the dream as far as not
Um,
getting excited, maybe. Hmm.
I think
I
meditation, for sure,
Yeah.
dude.
general meditation and anything that helps ground you in your environment. When I was having a lucid dream, I started paying like really close attention to the environment, and I realized that my creaky wood floor wasn't making any noise. And so that just kind of furthered my lucidity in my environment. So
Yeah, that's interesting because you know, a lot of the times at that point, that split second of lucidity that wakes me up, I become introspective in the excitement. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think focusing on the environment or even meditating on the idea, you know, I have aphantasia, so I don't see anything when I meditate, but you know, maybe just focusing on the idea of an environment and navigating it mentally while in meditation might help. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I think meditation's a good practice for like it's practice for when you get into a dream state. I noticed that when like I couldn't enter into any type of lucid state or anything like that when I was really intensely doing meditation practices like multiple times a day every day for months. But what it would do is it would allow me to recognize those states better when I was asleep and then not kind of respond to it as much. So like the feelings, the sensations was like, oh, I recognize this, I know where I'm at, versus like, wow, this is, like my brain going, wow, kind of like out of my control. Um, so that it just made things calmer, so that in the transition was a lot cleaner versus like this, um, jarring or even kind of surprise that happens when I used to lucid dream. Um, but my lucidity isn't it doesn't last for long times most of the time either. But I generally don't wake up. Um, Even if I lose awareness in the dream, I'll just keep dreaming. So maybe you're just like a light sleeper too, That's a possibility.
Yeah.
You take like melatonin or like any um, magnesium to help you sleep or anything like that?
I'm taking gabapentin because I have restless leg syndrome really bad, but I still dream. I take naps sometimes, and I don't take gabapentin during nights. You know, I only take like a low dose at night. That's all it really takes for me to not have the restless legs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if gabapentin would have much effect on it. I don't think so. But maybe like a magnesium would help you like rest deeper so that you could stay in a dream state longer if even if you um, lost lucidity, you know?
Yeah, I'm taking magnesium every day to threshold. You know, I take as much as I can take without it making me sick
Oh, okay.
because of health issues.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Well, maybe meditation would help. I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear because a
That
lot
is
of
something I've been neglecting for the last couple months. So
yeah, same
yeah, I
here.
might lean into meditation more and see how that affects it.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the group that talk about similar things, like they get lucid and then they suddenly pop out of it, because they're like, oh, I was only lucid for like a couple seconds, and then I lose it or I wake up, And so, one thing that I was doing when I first started, like really getting to these dream states, is like spinning. So that's what I recommend to people is like, as soon as you get lucid, start spinning because for some reason it would deepen my experience. Like I could feel it, like me getting almost physically deeper into the dream and making it so it's like harder to break out of it, without really having some like stuff happen in my waking life.
That's interesting. I mean, that kind of piggybacks off of what Knight was saying on focusing on the environment. Because if you're spinning in the environment, you're activating your TPJ, which is kind of like your brain's gyroscope.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna try those things because I have not tried them before.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just some ideas, and I'd love to hear about if any of that helps you at all, man. Um, Anybody else have any cool dreams for the last week that they'd like to share with us before we dive into the spiritual eye?
Unfortunately, I haven't had too many dreams at all, like lately.
It's because you're working too much, man.
I am working a lot, and yeah, Like my, I've got no dreams right now.
Deadpool, he said spinning. Um, he said that worked for him sometimes. So, um, and I don't really know how I came to that conclusion of using spinning to help myself, maybe in a dream state or whatever. But it just came naturally, and um,
It's
seems like other people do
a
too.
lot of people say that. Yeah, a lot of people say that online that spinning seems to help a lot.
Yeah, and I think maybe um, what he was saying, is maybe helps you kind of connect to the sensation of the environment or something like that. So interesting. Yeah, yeah. I've been having some
Uh,
crazy dreams, but somebody was saying something. What? Go ahead. Oh,
uh,
Snazzy, go ahead.
okay. I just wanted to say, I think spinning works because I when I was just joined the server and just learned the concept of spinning and stuff like this. I was thinking about it as in like something like AI, like AI videos or something like that. Mm, I don't know why, but sometimes Dream World, it's like it doesn't have any memory from the past, and when you spin, everything starts to change.
Mm,
It's not good with details. It can throw so much details at you, and so many times with reflection, but sometimes it's not something from the past. It's starting to happening to me like even last night, as I said, it, my dreams get like a bit too real, like
mm,
too much, and I cannot. As I said, my like a week ago it was. I'm not sure. Um, I was just spinning in that dream because I was suspicious it was a dream and it didn't work. Anything stayed the same.
mm,
I looked at my hands and it was normal. It was just my hands. I even like um, touch them together to like see they go through each other, but it didn't. And I also, and the thing is, and I also, um, what? Sorry, this guy made me laugh.
that's
Sorry.
all good. Yeah, I've generally when I spin, the environment definitely changes on me, but that's interesting. Yours is like staying stable even after you spin, which I don't think that's ever happened to me. It usually
Hmm.
changes. So that's interesting, man. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I think I found that sometimes the dream fights, um, when people are really trying to control the dream or do things to um, turn it in. At least this is my experience. To turn it into what I desire. Sometimes it works, but then after a while, it's like the unconscious starts fighting back, and is like, hey, you might be able to play around in this playground a little bit, but you're not the master of this domain. And maybe that's kind of what's happening to you a little bit. Is like there's a little pushback about you trying to control things, and you're seeing that effect take place. Um, you know, the brain is a complicated thing, or the mind is. So there's other things going on there besides just our personal egos in that space. And sometimes we encounter those things, and I know that you've encountered that quite a bit in your dream experiences, Nazi.
Yeah, and just wanted to say, beside all that I said, what is I'm not sure. I think you know Light. He's my friend,
Oh
my
yeah,
best
yeah,
friend, uh, and I, he doesn't care much. He used, it's better to say he used to not care about dreaming and stuff like it's too much. But now I'm pushing him too far, like, and like trying to introduce him to dreaming and spirituality. And he's kind of he wants to share a dream of his. He didn't had like so much lucid dreams
sure.
lately, but he wants to talk in the
Oh
voice
sure,
if
yeah,
that's okay.
yeah. Like go ahead and share your dream with the group if you like.
Go on, Light. You don't worry, don't be shy. Talk.
uh, oh, he says his parents are asleep, so
Yeah.
um, that's okay. Maybe at another time he can come out. If he
Alright,
likes to
great.
type it out, you can too in the group, and I'd be
You can
more
also
than
type
happy
it
to read
and
it.
yeah.
So anybody else before we get started on kind of like I know last time we talked a lot about the spiritual eye and it seemed like people were kind of excited about talking about that subject, so put a little effort into kind of thinking about it more this last week for you guys. So maybe we could deepen the conversation a little bit. He said he'll do it another time. Okay. Well, so last time, I don't know if there's some new people in here, but last time we talked about the spiritual eye a little bit and kind of what it was and how to engage with that. But this time it was kind of at the tail end of our conversation, and so we kind of want to make it a priority. I know Snazzy is really interested in that topic. I am too, and I think it really has a benefit to and night. I think it has a benefit to lucid dreaming, and that's why one of the main reasons that we kind of um, bring it up into the group. Not that this group is just focused on lucid dreaming, but um, that is kind of one of the key elements that bring people here. So, um, a little story about me in the quote unquote spiritual eyes that I kind of encountered it as a synchronistic type experience, and um, and I think anybody that really deeply searches into religion and symbols and um, these kind of artwork that is expressed worldwide can encounter it, and it's encountered in different ways because it's so profound to humanity, and I'll explain a little bit why I think that is. But my encounter with it started looking at symbols and artwork and stuff like that, especially like esoteric artwork, um, and even American artwork from um, like George Washington and things like that. And there's a reason why with them. Well, the just to go in it, the Masons really have like a high focus on the spiritual eye, and they have a different name for it. They call it the blazing star, and even the symbol of the star with a G in it, if anybody's really kind of looked into Masonic artwork or symbols, the G itself indicates God, right? And and they put God, the G, in the middle of this blazing star, like right in the center of it, and it's a five-pointed star. And it made me really kind of take a step back and be like, first of all, I didn't know what this symbol was about, and it popped up over and over again in Masonic artwork, and didn't really know what the symbol was about. Um, why was like in this circle, with a five-pointed star in the center, and then also like, why is five-pointed star such an important icon around the world? Like, I look up in the stars and I don't see a five-pointed star. I see like a light, in space. I don't see this five-pointed star really anywhere in reality besides maybe in some flowers or starfish or seashells have it on it. So it's very interesting that we kind of use a, the symbol and then say it's a star. And I thought that was very strange. And then for me, another connection was there's a lodge, an old lodge that they converted into like a brewery hotel. And in the very top of it, in the center, is this beautiful stained glass artwork of this blazing star. And it's not even a Masonic lodge. Um, it was a different type of lodge out here, but it's kind of Masonic. But anyways, and I was just blown away that it was such a highly detailed thing, and no one really knew anything about it. And it seems to be the same with many cultures, many religions, some religions have a circle with a rose in the center. Christian artwork has that, and then a cross in the center of the rose. And there's also like some associations to like Rosicrucians, which is like the rosy cross, right? And you can see like a five-pointed rose in the center of a circle with a cross in the center of that. And so you and then you come into like Hindu traditions, like yoga traditions with Kriya yogas especially. And the Kriya yogis, they call it the spiritual eye, and that's where that comes from. Kind of is that word spiritual eye is associated with Kriya yoga, and they really are interested in this spiritual eye, and it's the same symbol. It's a circle, right? Like sometimes it's a golden circle with like coloring blue coloring in it, and then you have the five-pointed star there. So, um, and that kind of took me to a guy named Forrest Knudsen, and he's a trained yogi from in the Kriya tradition, and he spent a lot of time in that tradition, probably more than a lot of people that claim to be yogis. He doesn't look like the typical yogi. He's like a kind of a nerdy white guy, and I was kind of a little bit taken back by how he looked. But I listened to what he said, and a friend had actually referred me to him, and my friend is very knowledgeable about Hindu traditions and stuff, and he's like, this guy's legit. So I was like, all right. So I listened to his stuff, and sure enough, like he 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 made sense to me, but I still didn't experience anything. I've um, and I have to go back a little bit. So years ago, before I even encountered anything associated with this spiritual eye, I was in I started a group online on Facebook, and a few people joined in there that were um, very skilled lucid dreamers. They could do it at will, anytime, and and I was like so just amazed at that, and I was like, how are they doing this? And they didn't seem to have any like sleep disorders, so they weren't like narcoleptic or anything like that. It wasn't like a spontaneous thing. It was like they kind of set their intention to do it, and they both said the same thing. They said, "Oh, I see a like a blue glowing orb, and then I focus on it, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and then I have a lucid dream." And I was like, "What? Like, what? How do I like? I don't see any orb in my vision when I close my eyes. Like, what does that even mean to me?" And so it was kind of useless for me because I don't see that. And they try to explain, it's like, well, if you just sit there, you'll see it. And I'm like, okay. And I've heard this a few other ways, people describing like using hypnagogia to lucid dream, where they just like stare into hypnagogia and then they see a light or something, and then next thing you know, they're in a lucid dream. And I'm like, man, I've stared into the darkness of the back of my eyes for hours and never seen anything like that. So it was just kind of, I'm like, I don't, this doesn't make sense to me. So fast forward, listen to Forrest's stuff, and in their tradition, they have a few different ways to kind of excite um, the nervous system in order to see maybe the spiritual eye. And one of them is called Yoni Mudra. And if you Google that, you're not really going to find anything useful. You'll get some like yoga poses, because that is also a Yoni Mudra, I guess, because it kind of is it's a catch-all for, I guess, some other forms of yoga. But um, if you type in like Yoni Mudra um, Kriya, then you may find some videos on it. There's really only one that I could find that was good, and I'll share it in the Discord after the talk. But essentially, like they teach you to put light pressure on the eyes using a certain hand like form, um, and then kind of sit there. And I did that, and I didn't really have any results. I didn't see anything, And so I was like, well, maybe if I just modify it a little bit, a little bit more pressure on my eyes or something, maybe something will happen. And so I started doing that, and uh, um, after a while, like just leaving my hands there, a few things happened. One, I saw the stars, like sparkling stars that some people see when they get like hit in their head. And I'll admit, like I pushed a little too hard, I think, on my eyes that time. And then I saw kind of like geometric shapes that a lot of people have seen probably too from rubbing their eyes and things like that. And then eventually those shapes went away, and then I started seeing what appeared to be like almost brain structure in my eyes. And I was like, this is weird. And I kept going, and then suddenly I saw like a blue orb starting to appear. I was like, that's weird. And I kept going, and then this blue orb transformed into like a almost like a donut shape. And and that was like where it kind of ended it the first time that I did it. And I was just kind of blown away that like there was something inside me that I could see that I've never seen before, and it's always been there. And um, and that really wasn't all that is there, but that was kind of my initial experience with it. And I think a few of us in this uh, talk have experienced the same thing. And I've heard it before, many other people talking about, oh, I did that when I was a kid, like I pushed my eyes maybe a little too long or something like that, and then I saw this donut, and then I just didn't do it anymore, and it's like, interesting. And a lot of these people are like experiencers or like lucid dreamers and stuff, and it's like maybe that's kind of what started this whole thing. Um, but anyways, and then a funny thing, and I don't recommend people doing this, but I my wife was we found out she was pregnant, and I went to my father-in-law's place, and him and I had a lot of drinks. And I woke up that morning, the next morning, and without rubbing my eyes or doing anything, and the back of my eyes, I could see that donut again, like clear, crystal clear. And I was like, whoa. And I opened my eyes, and it was still there, and it wouldn't go away. And it lasted for like probably an hour, and just hanging out. And I was like, what is that? But um, then it started progressing over time, and eventually I could see like a small light in the center of this donut, and the donut would be very profound. It would change. Um, and I talked to Forrest about this, like how it would change, why it would change. And he indicated that this is a change in perspective about where you actually are in the spiritual eye. So, and that was kind of confusing to me, but after a while I started understanding a little bit more about perspective and what that could mean. Um, and and then from that star, um, I would start seeing the stars, like not like getting hit in the head stars, but like kind of like stars that you would see in space, but in my waking vision. So like sometimes off to the side, I'd see them, and then they go away. Or I close my eyes, and sometimes I would see them. And then in the Kriya yoga tradition, they say to ignore those stars, to ignore the ones that are kind of outside the vision, um, and focus on the more central one. And I know Snazzy has talked about um, his is primary, kind of like off to the left, so it's not really center to him, and he focuses on that, and it transforms and does things. And but for me, I focused on the center, and and primarily I could do this in like hypnagogia, is and then sometimes it would if I if I could focus on it long enough, it would start to transform and get bigger, not by much, but probably like the end of a eraser size. And what I found is if I could just focus on that only and relax, um, then after a period of time, I would have this sensation of starting to dream while being awake. But then I resisted the dreams as best I possibly could. So like the daydreams and the memories from those, like the false memories I'd call them, and just keep focusing on that central star over and over again. Eventually, the star dilates and it pulls me in, and then I'd be in a lucid dream. And then it made sense to me what those people years ago were telling me. Like that's how they did it. They just couldn't explain this process. So I'm wondering if I'll go more in depth to um, maybe what's happening, what this donut thing is, what the star is, and different ways that maybe you can use it and interact with it and start seeing it. But I would like to hear some other people's experiences with this that have gone through and kind of worked with it a little bit.
So often when I'm starting to like head to bed and I'm just kind of like laying there, I will see like a very, very faint like dot in the center of my vision in the darkness of my eyes. And sometimes it'll get bigger and smaller. And I don't know like if it has to do with like the fact that on some sunrises I would like sun gaze because they say like that should open your spiritual eye, you know, in some like woo woo circles or whatnot. But yeah, I was doing breath work one time, fairly recently. I want to say uh 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And I during like 30 minutes into it, I started seeing like this rainbow colored like dot in the darkness of my eyes. And I know that's weird, but it like changed shape a little, changed size a little bit, not by much, and then it just stopped.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, mine comes and goes
So
too, so that's a great indication. And also what you were talking about, it's a great um, technique, not necessarily looking at the sun, but another technique that they use in Korea traditions to kind of start activating this is to use like a light, like a candle flame. And so they'll look at the candle flame with the eyes open, sitting in like some type of meditation way, relaxed, and then close their eyes and try to hold the after image as long as possible, to kind of have that memory and to like extend the memory into um, as long as they possibly can. And they do that over and over and
yeah.
over again. There's a guy, um, he's more modern, and he's a Buddhist, I would say. He does something called a fire cantina, which is just a fire meditation, but it's kind of like a brand name for what he does. And um, his name's Daniel Ingram, and what he does is him and his people, they take like a couple days and they go to like a hotel or something, and they use candles, and they'll stare at the candle as long as they can with their eyes open, and then they'll close their eyes and they'll do the same thing, right? Like extend it as long as they possibly can, and they'll do this for like 10 hours a day, just like keep nothing but open their eyes, look at the candle, close their eyes, extend it, and keep doing it over and over and over again, right? And after a while, they start tripping. They essentially start having visions with their eyes open. And so they're kind of doing the same thing, right? They're activating the spiritual eye, but they're doing it while they're awake versus like in a dream state and entering it in a dream state. And
Um.
yeah, go ahead, Knight.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, um, he might have gotten it from that guy Ingram. But there was a YouTuber that I've been watching for a very long time, like 10 plus years, and he's always been in this space of like astral projection and lucid dreaming and stuff. And his name is Ryan Cropper.
Oh, okay, I haven't heard this
And
one.
Yeah, and he recently, when I say recently, I mean like I want to say this year or last year, he started talking about basically what you just said, that when you stare into a candle um long enough in a relaxed state of mind, and you just stare at it in kind of like a scrying manner, eventually that quote unquote sunburn in your eye, that little dot, will get bigger, and then you'll have a vision.
Yeah.
And he akins it to like a DMT experience in the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, from their descriptions, it's very intense, and it can last for days. So it's not just like, hey, I'll shut this off, after like 6 hours or whatever. It's
Well,
like no, it just keeps
and what
going.
happens if you have work in the morning?
Yeah, that's why they go to a hotel, and they also like bring with them nurses, like somebody trained in medical profession of some kind, and they only
Oh
take
wow.
certain people now because people have had like straight up mental breakdowns from doing this thing. And there is some caution to be said about like doing this kind of work um, with anybody. Um, but at the same time, like the, these are it's not a hidden. I mean, it is a hidden secret in some traditions, right? Probably for that reason, like to just not put it out there for anybody like we're doing to kind of know how to engage with this thing. But at the same time, like it is a natural thing that we all have and that we all engage with unconsciously, really. Um, and it's a beautiful piece of life that, for me, it would feel bad if I never engaged with it. Like I feel like I was missing out on something that I now don't. Now I have a connection to that I feel um, uh, different about. Like it's very profound to me. So I'm appreciated that I had the opportunity to engage with it, and I think other people um, should have that opportunity, but also with like some caution of like um, maybe a good grounded situation would probably be helpful when you start having experiences, because the visions can be very real, like in dreams, in lucid dream states. Like you could call those visions too in some ways, and many people have had problems with lucid dreams themselves. So
Yeah.
there's caution in anything that you take part in because everyone's different. But
And
yeah, go ahead.
if like anybody here is feeling like mentally unwell, it's okay not to engage in the practice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, um,
Like you can come back later when you're feeling more grounded.
yeah, I have done that. I have taken
It-
months and sometimes years off of like intense dream work just to get
Mhm.
back into life. So
And sometimes you need that break to process what you're going through, like, or what you've been through. Like it's similar to like how people often say, like, in when it comes to like magic mushrooms, like you don't do that stuff like every day because your brain needs time to process like what you just went through. So it's like there's like multiple like layers that you're processing that you don't even realize you're processing. Your subconscious mind processes so much data you that the logical mind probably couldn't even handle all at once. I mean, have you ever like tried to remember the name of something and you can't, and then just randomly like 2 hours later it comes to you out of nowhere?
yeah,
Like your brain has so many background processes in the background that you don't even know about. So it's okay to take a breather from that type of thing.
yeah. And Deadpool said, intuitively, it doesn't sound like a good idea. The candle stare. Yeah, I mean, the candle depends on how you look at it, I guess. I'm not exactly sure the meaning behind that, but staring at any bright light intuitively doesn't sound like a great idea. Um, but either does like brushing on your eyes, I think, right? Like, um, but and
Yeah.
some of these, there's clearly people out there that without any uh, effect, need or anything like that at all can have these experiences. A lot of people encounter spiritual life through like prayer, meditation, um, but meditation is also an act, depending on what type of meditation practice you do. It's kind of pushing and prodding on the nervous system to do something, to have some type of effect. Even quieting your nervous system has a profound effect on your nervous system. Um, it's not really quieting things down amplifies things up. So it's a double-edged sword no matter what you do. And but there, I don't think anybody should stare at a bright light for long periods of time. And it doesn't really take that much. Like if you just look outside or something like that, you can do a similar effect, right? You can look outside in bright light or a brighter area, or even um, another technique is to draw like a circle on a piece of paper, like a black circle on a white piece of paper, and put it up on your wall and look at that, because that difference in color is enough to create the mental memory of the image after you close your eyes. You can do it on your phone too, though the phone has like a weird effect because um, the refresh rate of
The
your
blue
phone,
light.
well, the refresh
Oh,
rate, you
okay.
can actually see the refresh rate behind your eyes if they're sensitive enough. And I think
Hmm.
it's also like there's many things happening when you do this kind of work. It's like making your visual senses more sensitive, so maybe you can see things that you typically couldn't see, like behind your eyes. Like I never used to see a refresh rate on my phone when I closed my eyes, but now I do. So if I use my phone at night before I go to bed and I close my eyes, I will see the pulsating light of my phone for like quite a period of time afterwards. And
Ah, that's the worst.
it
That
can
sounds like
bother.
hell.
It's kind of like just flashing, um,
Yeah.
but it's very mild, so it's not like overwhelming or anything like that. But I can imagine some people it could be overwhelming. But um, and this brings up an interesting point is like um, so what you're doing is visually remembering something, right? And
Mhm.
not long ago, to remember actually meant to imagine. So now we think of memory as like the ability to recall important information or to recall things. But and when you read about like memory in say old esoteric alchemical texts, they actually were talking about the ability to um, visualize something, to imagine it. So um, some of these techniques and stuff like that are associated with memory in the old sense, even though they have like a profound effect on what we call memory today too. So um, yeah, so any type of practice that has you kind of visually recall something or imagine something or anything like that could affect your memory, and then has an effect on this spiritual eye. Um, and I'm not exactly sure the reason behind that, but does anybody else have? I know Snazzy has some stuff that he probably would like to share about it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Um, I wanna start like before I used to see a spiritual eye. Um, everything what is told me about the concept. I even searched around the internet and watched some videos on YouTube. Tried some stuff. None of those worked for a long time, like maybe a month or two. I'm not sure. And I was just after a while I said, nah, it's no in no way it won't work, and I just moved on from it and forgot about it. And I used to do it sometimes, but when I see it didn't work or um, it's worthless, or in my mind I was saying, no, it's fake, and I just leave it behind. After a while, in the morning, my eyes were reaching my left eye, and I start to rubbing it and scratching it, like aggressively. And after a while, I started to see a little dot, not a faint version, as Knight said, pretty clear. I just looked at it, like focus on it, and it started to expand and turn into a donut shape. And I was just looking at it and was saying to myself, oh my God, it's actually true. It's not nonsense or anything. And after that, I started to like get into this thing. I started doing meditations. Like I never used to believe in meditations, but after that, I started to do just to get better. Like I remember, I after a while, I got bad at lucid dreaming and asked Vordis for help, and he taught me the concept of a spiritual eye. And I started a spiritual eye just to get better at lucid dreaming. And after that, I saw a spiritual eye, I just wanted to get better at a spiritual eye. Like I forgot about lucid dreaming. It was awesome. And I started to practice every day, meditate in my closet. It's a dark closet every day with an app. Wood is show it to me. Maybe I can also teach you guys what's that app. Maybe you guys already do that, and it's good. It really helped me about the spiritual eye. I think personally, it's about relaxing and stuff. And I used to just see a spiritual eye when I was angry or sad, and I don't know why. Whenever I saw it, I used to just get to relax, and it was like not that I could hear a voice, but it was like a voice of mine back in my head that was telling me everything is okay. And I, it was such a good feeling. After a while that I saw a lot of spiritual, I had a lot of experiences. And now that I'm realizing, it's like my eyes is more sensitive than before. Like not in a bad way, like in a good way. Like light is different to me, not that different. Like um, I didn't care about the back of my eyes too much, but now, even for a brief second, I'm looking at the light that is shining. Maybe even my life, even right now, even I see it and close my eyes, it stays there. Like I see it like never before. And not only that, staring at a white wall, like blank wall or sheet of paper, also works. Like I don't know why, but I I wanted to like tell this concept to my friends, to my mom, to everyone I know, and the thing I tried for them, uh, I told them the practice they need to do, and all of them say it's boring, and I was frustrated and said, okay, let's like, hey, look at the sun, it's bright, look at it for a brief moment, and they were like, oh, come on, okay, just for this once, and they were looking at it, and after a time, I'm sure they were faking it. Oh, I'm seeing things just to just get this over with. And I'm happy that I'm talking about this in here. Like, I tried to talk about this with everyone I saw in here in person. No one tried to even listen to me. V- Even some of my family members called me an idiot and called me, "Don't do this stuff. It's evil." And and I was like, dude, it's just a donut. It's just an eye, back of your eye, and it's beautiful. It really helps you. Buddhists know that I was an aggressive person. I was always used to fight. The moment I started to work on these things, beside even lucid dreaming, I got into a better person. Now I'm much more relaxed and I can clearly say I love myself, not I love the world, I love the life. I can say I love myself. I literally couldn't say this. And I even used to, when I wake up, I used to look at the mirror and doesn't care anything. And now I'm looking at the mirror and even get happier. I don't know why, but it's give me a happy feeling that I'm alive, that I know these things, and I appreciate every second of my life that I join this server and got to meet you guys.
I feel that I used to have I was very similar. I had a lot of not self-hatred, but a lot of negative thoughts about myself. And I've noticed um like these last 2 years, and especially joining this server, I actually start thinking way more positively than I ever have before. And if it makes you feel any better, even in my day-to-day life, I don't really have anybody to talk to about lucid dreaming, and definitely not any spiritualized stuff. Um, uh, quick, it's a little off topic, but quick funny story. I have a dream. I have a dream recall notification on my phone to ask if I'm dreaming, and it makes a specific noise that none of my other notifications make. And anytime I hear that, I will do a reality check. And I still don't have reality checks in my dream for some reason, but I still do it out of habit. Um, and my phone made that noise, and my friend, she looked at me and she said, "Why did your phone make that noise?" And I said, "Oh, that's just to tell if I'm dreaming or not." And she started laughing so hard, and I said no, for real, it's a reality check for me. And then I turned my phone to her, and I showed her, I showed her, and it says, are you dreaming right now? Do a reality check. And that just sent her. She was laughing so hard for like the next 5 minutes. I'm like, it's true, it's true.
That's funny.
uh yeah, that was actually like, that was legit like 2 days ago.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, Naz, you brought up the one of the other ways, I guess, to engage with um, the spiritual eye, and that was I was telling you about the um, Kriya Yoga meditation on kind of activating. It's called heart rate variability, and there's a free app online, and I can post the link to, and you can download it. And essentially, what you're doing is you're breathing out longer than you breathe in, and this activates the vagus nerve in your body, which calms your body down. So if you're kind of hyperactive person, or you have a lot of anxiety, or what the Buddhists call monkey thoughts, which we all have, um, the Kriya Yoga people, they decided that you can't really fight the monkey mind. You can't really, because it only creates more monkey mind. So the way around it is to activate the vagus nerve, which shuts down the monkey mind immediately once you get into heart rate variability, which means that your heart rate slows down. So like people have heard about, these Buddhist monks and stuff like that. They can change their heart rate, right? And they're like, wow, that's amazing. Well, anybody can really do that with a short period of time of just breathing in a certain way. So, and there's other ways of doing this, like put yourself in heart rate variability. Some people do it accidentally through different things. Um, it can lower your blood pressure too much that you can, if you have blood pressure problems and things like that, they can
Uh,
cause you to get lightheaded and pass out even.
That's
So,
what I was just that's just what I was gonna say. Whenever I'm at the doctor and they're checking my heart rate, I always do some breath work
there you
nearing.
go. Yeah, me too. It's like I wonder if I can make it a little lower.
Yeah,
They're like, you're dead right now. I'm like, oh no. Um,
no, I'm good.
yeah, I'm just dreaming, bro. So yeah, so heart rate variability is one way to kind of do that, and also um, the vagus nerve, when you activate that, it puts you into that relaxed state, and that can kind of, it's very similar to like hypnagogia, right? So it can, if you can already kind of see that donut, or you're aware of it being there, right? Then your mind can associate that and start bringing that up when you're in that state. So it's one way of seeing it too, um, without, the eye pressure or staring at the light and things like that. For me, it didn't work. Like that wasn't what did it for me. It was the putting light pressure on my eyes. Um, but everyone's different, and that's why there's different methods to kind of working with this thing. There's also the method of not doing anything, right? And and seeing if it comes naturally to you when you're in the right state, whatever. But these are just tools and options available to people that they can pick and choose. And I do think that like that is part of. And Snazzy brought up a good point. It's like he went and told all his friends, and I was very similar. It's like, oh my god, like I need to tell everybody about this thing. This is amazing. And but what happened is it's the same thing. It's like um, and people just weren't really interested for one, and two, I kind of realized that maybe there's a reason why a lot of these cultures kind of kept it secret from people is that um, people, a lot of them will say, when the right time is for the person, they will find it. And so I think that that's true in some sense. So um, and maybe it's the right time for the people in this group to hear this and decide if they want to engage with that or not. Another thing is Deadpool was talking about scrying practices and techniques can be kind of risky for people, because of the visions people can have with those kind of things. And I'd say that those type of practices actually engage with the same thing, right? It's what you're really doing is you're activating, like you're engaging with what a lot of people call like the right brain, and it's not necessarily like the right side of the brain. It would be like the limbic right side of your brain, and which is like your emotional aspect of your brain, but also what other cultures identified as kind of like this intelligence that they associated synonymously with God. And and that is why in the Masonic lodges they associate the spiritual eye with the G symbol, right, which is God. And
Mhm.
if you go through a lot of different artwork and cultural references to this light and what people are engaging with, you'll find it over and over again that it's it's very
Yeah.
much related to that. And for my personal life, I can say the same things that Snazzy did in a different way. Is that what I started realizing with is that I had been engaged with this all my life, but when I could see it, um, it was like me looking back at a symbol that represented God versus like what I attributed as God looking at me, right? So like I could, in a way, see God, but um, versus like just this concept of God watching the entire time, right? So, and you can call it whatever you want, you can call it like I attribute it to like hyper intelligence, right? So like an intelligence, the intelligence that we understand as humans is attributed to like the left side brain activity, which is like personal intelligence, right? Like personal ego, sense of personal self, things like that. But then we have this entire other aspect to ourselves, this which is the majority of the brain that is in the background doing everything, right? It in dreams, it's creating the dream world for you. It's giving you the idea of lucidity. It is engaging with you and allowing you to have experiences, right? It's the narrator that forms everything around you while you think you're in control. It's the shadow that you engage with in the fear, right? These are all different parts of you that express itself as a hyperintelligence, forming this perfect experience when you're in dream states. And I'd say a perfect, near perfect experience while you're awake,